Hello, as the title suggests, how to get diagnosed with ADHD as an adult if you're living in the UK. Obviously, it differs where you are in the world. In fact, this is probably specifically for England, to be honest. Some may apply to Scotland, Wales, and Northern Ireland. I'm not too sure about that, but this is what happened with me. I won't go into my whole life story or anything like that, but I suspected after a while I had ADHD. And about a year ago, as an adult, I'm 48 now, so yeah, it's been a struggle. But anyway, I realised I may have ADHD. In fact, initially about 3 years ago, I went to my GP about it and I did the test that the NHS have, and it showed that I likely certainly fit the criteria for assessment. And I was referred to NHS hospital waiting list. They acknowledged that I was on their waiting list. After a bit of research, I realised that actually the waiting list is about 8 years long, believe it or not, which is no use for somebody who's been, ADHD. If you suspect you have it or you have it and you're watching this, you know how such negative impact it can have on your life. And that's a long time to wait just to see somebody about it, never mind anything else. So what you need to do if you suspect you have ADHD, you might not, but if you think something's going on, you think you might have ADHD, you need to go through right to choose. Now, right to choose is a legal framework, which means your GP has to accept right to choose. So it means you can select a private provider to do an ADHD assessment. Okay. The one I went with was called Care ADHD. Just Google it; they'll come up. There's a few out there. They're entirely free, by the way. They don't cost you anything. And you go on specifically for Care ADHD. You register. You fill out an online assessment form, which is very similar, if not the same, to the one that I did with the NHS. The outcome of that will determine whether they think there's a possibility you have ADHD. From then, they give you a template letter you download off the website. It tells you basically it's written for you, and you send it into your GP. It basically says, under right to choose, I've done an ADHD assessment with this company, ADHD. It seems I may well have ADHD. I want to have further assessment with ADHD. And under my legal right, I am allowed to do this. Now, you might think this is going to be a struggle and the GP is just going to push it back and forth or not do anything. My GP was absolutely fantastic. They have to agree to it anyway, but obviously they can drag their feet on these things or argue the toss. But yeah, it went pretty straightforward. They sent it off to KDHD through the NHS app. I could see that the letter was received by my GP. I could see that it had been sent back to ADHD. So I could see it had all been done. So it wasn't really that stressful, to be honest. It's gonna differ with different GP surgeries. Some are on the ball, some aren't. And from there was a wait before obviously ADHD acknowledged that I was going to be assessed, and they said I'd be contacted. I did have to chase them up a few times. I think it took about 3 to 4 months before I actually had an assessment. In my experience, or certainly what I found from other people as well, it sort of depends on when they have availability of assessors. These are obviously doctors / trained medical professionals. I think mine was with a nurse. And they don't, what can I say? They're sort of sourced in by Care ADHD, so it's not like they have their own stream of doctors that work for them all the time. As far as my impression, they sort of hire people in to do the assessments. So it probably depends on their availability, and I think they sort of, from my experience, I think they blitz people through. So like you could be waiting like a month if that time is coming up, or you could be waiting 3 to 4 months if that time not coming up. I may be incorrect, but anyway, it's certainly a lot less than 8 years. Okay. So have your assessment, and it was an online assessment, video call, obviously extremely thorough for your whole entire life, that pertinent questions. And then afterwards, she told me the outcome actually at the end. I think from the assessment, because from the initial assessment, you also get further questions once you've been accepted by Right to Choose KDHD. So they ask further questions like family history and all this kind of thing. So pretty much going into the call, assessment call, they probably quite have an idea of whether you've got it or not, So for me, video call, yeah, it lasted quite a while, an hour and a half or whatever, very, very thorough, which is why I'm confident that the outcome was correct. But you know yourself from answering the questions that they give you and the history, they really make you think back on your life. You sort of know, yeah, you're pretty confident that you've got it anyway. Obviously, if you haven't, it closes off that avenue, or certainly postpones that avenue, and you can, continue looking for a diagnosis that's going to help you. So to be honest with you, it's little bit of waiting, but it wasn't that stressful at all. With ADHD, it is difficult to get off your ass and get the ball rolling. Maybe get somebody to help you or whatever. But so that's the way to do it. And I was successfully diagnosed. I might do other videos about what that meant or how I felt and stuff. But I was diagnosed with severe combined ADHD, so now I know what's going on up here. And overall, it's been a great help. And now I'm on the pathway to try medication, which again is taking a bit of time. But you know what? I'm not expecting it to be done the week after. Do you know what I mean? It's a bit of patience and stuff. I know I'll get there in the end. So yeah, that's what you need to do, yeah? ADHD or just another provider, right to choose. Do their assessment online, do their further assessments, print off the letter, hand it to your GP, chase them up if you need be, keep an eye on it on the NHS app. It can all be done and dusted within 6 months. A lot better than 8 years. All right, and it don't cost you no money. Take care and God bless.